And we're live, folks. What's happening? I'm the Cleaver calling Andrew, joined by the simple man, Noah Foster, for NXT 2020 Year Review Session 2. Noah, how you doing tonight, my man?
I'm doing very well. I'm definitely looking forward to continuing to talk about NXT 2020 as we usher in the 2021 tomorrow with New Year's Eve on what has been an incredibly stacked week for professional wrestling and sports entertainment overall. Just coming off the verge of Wrestle Kingdom, I couldn't think of a better epilogue than what AEW and NXT are bringing tomorrow. So it's great to be back with you, and Happy New Year to you and your family.
Happy New Year to you too, man. Yeah, tomorrow, big night, both on AEW and NXT's part. I will be tuning into NXT tomorrow. Last week, the Brody Lee tribute show sucked me in completely. So I will give my attention. I might throw AEW up on the tablet, see what happens. But besides that, I mean, I am full blown ready for tomorrow's NXT. But we're not here to talk about tomorrow's NXT. We're here to talk about 2020 NXT, and where we left off was WrestleMania 36, pretty much. We ended pretty much. So that's where we're going to start. So we saw Charlotte Flair win the Royal Rumble, okay, and now Rhea Ripley comes out and challenges her. Basically, hey, if you want to fight for a title, boom, right here. If you want to fight, here I am. Let's do this. So, was supposed to happen at Tampa Bay Stadium, and next thing you know, the pandemic had shut it down back to the PC. But anyways, we're getting, either way, Rhea versus Charlotte NXT Championship. First time ever that a Royal Rumble winner has gone on to challenge for a NXT title. Noah, what were your thoughts on this match going into it?
Whew, fun. You talk about really trying to bring NXT to the main stage to the same level of Raw or SmackDown. Unprecedented, historic, absolutely excited for it. Rhea Ripley has been a breakout star of this generation in sports entertainment / WWE women's wrestling. Doing it all across three brands, representing NXT to the proudest since winning that title and reaching the top tier of her career, beating Shayna Baszler, sorry, Megan, literally within NXT's last episode last year. And now she truly wants to step up and take on what many people consider to be the best today in WWE's women's overall regime, Charlotte Flair, the queen. It doesn't get more crazier, serious, higher stakes than that, let alone at WrestleMania where it was going to be in front of 80,000 people. It was absolutely like, what? Because of all the possibilities that I could see for the NXT Women's Championship from WrestleMania weekend, I never in my life thought I would ever see it on WrestleMania itself, let alone Charlotte Flair going for it, which might I add as a former NXT Women's Champion with the original NXT belt.
Yeah, that is true, and she's the only woman to hold both belts. So, actually, no, didn't Asuka? Yeah, Asuka held both of them too. So never mind. That's my.
Asuka was like one of the last. I think it was like the last one to actually have that.
She was before they did the deal.
Yeah,
but yeah. So I was really, really looking forward to how they were going to play this match off because it was either you put a star over or you just have the Flair syndrome. I mean, granted, yes, Charlotte is great at what she does, but a lot of what she has done and been able to do is because of her last name. Let's just throw it out there. Let's just get the cat out of the bag. We all know it. We all know it's true.
You're just calling it like it is.
We all know I'm a straight shooter. So, it is what it is. But I was not expecting the outcome that we got. I was not expecting Rhea Ripley to tap out to the figure eight. I mean, we had weeks of build-up. We had the sneak attack and the knee issue beforehand.
Right.
But at the same time, she's the dirtiest player in the game's daughter. So I guess as generations go, you just get better. Isn't that evolution? So
and in one way or another, adapt or perish. You honestly got hard adapting.
But yeah, I was kind of bummed out when I saw the finish of the match, but it would have made sense for me if they actually did something with Charlotte Flair as champion. Because what did she really do after this? Not much. She showed up, and then she showed up on Raw, and then she showed up on SmackDown, and then she just cycled through, until the point she got burned out and had to take some time off. So, this match, in my opinion, ruined any momentum at all that Rhea Ripley had, because she has, up until recently, not been on the same page in elevation that she was 365 days ago at this time. That is for sure, through and through.
Can't argue that. I mean, literally, we've even heard it from Rhea Ripley herself. That loss devastated her self-confidence, career, and momentum. I mean, when you think about it, literally, and it was honestly one of the best matches of the entire 2 days of WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody. Mad credit to both women in the match they worked. But in my opinion, Charlotte Flair did not need to win the NXT Women's Championship. This was Rhea Ripley's crowning moment, as Triple H has claimed her to literally be the future. Not part of the future, but the future. Period. And that just destroyed Rhea Ripley's self-confidence, all that momentum altogether. The only thing Charlotte Flair did besides show up with that title on all 3 brands, she defended it against Mia Yim, because that was like one of the very first people she came up with through NXT at a credible respect for, and she beat her too. It did nothing to raise the value of NXT. If anything, it hurt the identity of NXT. It made it feel more like Raw or SmackDown, which again, you wanted to find a unique identity from NXT and the other 2. This was a bad booking move. And despite the fact people think it came down to visas and all other crap as well, it doesn't matter. In my opinion, this particular decision should have never happened.
Yeah, exactly. It should have been Rhea Ripley going over on Charlotte Flair, because she could have taken the loss. Because, okay, you've been on the roster, what, maybe at most 5 years now?
It's something like that.
And you're a 10-time champion? What does that say about you? That you don't have lengthy title reigns, that you can't keep the belt. People want to give shit to Sasha Banks because she could never successfully defend her title. Look at Charlotte Flair. 5 years, 10 championships. So that means once every 6 months, she has been champion.
Very much.
So, I don't shit on her athleticism.
Me neither.
Whatsoever. I shit on the fact that she rides the coattails of her dad, and she still has her dad showing up with her. As of January 4th, 2021, Ric Flair is still involved in storylines with his daughter.
Wow.
As of Raw last night. Still involved. And did the motherfucker cry? He sure did.
So they're trying to make Charlotte Flair a heel again?
I don't know. Rick accidentally tripped her because Lacey tried to pull Rick in for a kiss, and he's the limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun. Oh, sorry, I can't woo real loud. My daughter's going to bed. But I wanted to real bad, but no, seriously though, like Charlotte didn't need this. It ruined Rhea's momentum. Up until 6 weeks ago, Rhea didn't have the momentum that she had at all up until that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So, bad booking. Go figure. It was a WWE main card match. Go figure. Vince McMahon, go figure. On
the boxes.
I mean, just do what you want with that. But anyways, so let's move on from WrestleMania to oh God, what do we have? What was next in line? Really was what? Takeover in your house, right?
It was because let me go ahead and run some brief notes here. Between the time of WrestleMania weekend, where they did impromptu Tampa matches, including Velveteen Dream versus Adam Cole, where Adam Cole, baby, successfully retained his title with help of Roderick Strong. It's that whole personal angle. He and Dexter Lumis, they kind of were going after the Undisputed Era to the point that Roderick Strong feared the man, feared Trunks. We also had Priest going after Balor. We also had Timothy Thatcher come on the scene of NXT, and bro, he and Matt Riddle became tag team champions until they met in Imperium. After they took the titles of the Undisputed Era, Imperium took the titles of Riddle and Thatcher. We also had Io Shirai win a six-way women's ladder match in Tampa Bay, where she would challenge Charlotte Flair for that title she claimed she was going to, but then Rhea tried to come back into play towards that, which of course ended up setting up our main event for In Your House. Other events going forward towards In Your House included El Hijo del Fantasma's debut as they did the Cruiserweight Interim tournament, the story of Drake Maverick. And also now we have officially the Johnny Gargano way, as of course, right after WrestleMania weekend, the final thing regarding Takeover Tampa Bay was the final beat, where Candice LeRae, she fully turned heel, and Johnny Gargano overcame Ciampa, which led to some nice dinners at the Gargano family household. And then it started into going after Keith Lee and Mia Yim. Sub-feuds developed from there. And we also had Armageddon arrive as Karrion Kross ran roughshod over everybody until he ran to one Ciampa, or started something with him after attacking him mysteriously. And as further things involved in NXT, including sub-feuds like Tegan Nox before she got injured, Saucy Blackheart's continuing to make her way. We also have Kevin Grimes being just as annoying, trying to do his thing. We fast forward all the way now to what becomes a very special NXT takeover, a celebration of In Your House.
Yeah, the announcement for In Your House really kind of came out of nowhere. And it was really nice to see, because I remember when pay-per-views came to be just In Your Houses at first.
Yeah, they were like,
think of not the main four, but anything after that was just the In Your House deal, In Your House deal, In Your House deal. And it's nice it's the fact that Sean and Hunter brought that back, because who were the guys that were on those In Your House shows? Sean and Hunter.
And Road Dogg.
So, yeah. And so that was announced out of nowhere. We were all eager to see what was the stage going to look like. What was this going to look like? It's an NXT deal, no crowd, etc. But I thought the show was really good. We had Mia Yim, Shotzi Blackheart, and Tegan Nox defeat Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, and Raquel Gonzalez in a 6-women's tag match.
Good opener.
Which was a great opener, I thought. Those 6 women know what they're doing, especially Candice and especially Mia.
Basically impromptu, because that's what this whole thing was devolving around. As of course, prior, Keith Lee, Mia Yim, Johnny Gargano, and Candice LeRae had a mixed tag match where the Garganos, they did win. And of course, this set up towards Johnny Gargano taking on Keith Lee for the North American title. You'll get into one more thing that was also a big time thing before this. Drake Maverick, he won a contract purely because of his heart and fight.
Yes. I was wondering how they were going to do that. I mean, honestly, when he was brought in as general manager at 205 Live, I was like, no, he's got to wrestle. I mean, we all know him as Rockstar.
Of course
we know him from Rockstar Spud from TNA. Total nonstop action, folks. I mean, what was, it was. We know his character might have been dog shit, but his athletic ability is not.
And you can't argue with the man's heart and passion. And this was also during the time where WWE had what they called Black Wednesday, when they let go of so many people. And of course, this kind of was a driving angle towards that, I think, more for viewership. But also regarding viewership, before you go in your house, how could I forget? How foolish of me, considering we have one tomorrow. A fight pit was created and introduced, and it led Matt Riddle off to SmackDown as Thatcher and Riddle settled their disputes in the first ever NXT fight pit. That was something very unique.
It was after Riddle got a TV thrown at his damn head.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I forgot all about that fight pit. I thought that was after this for some reason. This year has been
I
crazy,
just
folks.
No, it was literally right before. It was the Takeover Go Home show, actually, to In Your House, which now we're at. So yeah, the 6-woman tag, of course. Again, it kept going around Mia Yim, Candice LeRae, because again, Yim and LeRae, they're going opposite of each other as LeRae embraces the Johnny Gargano way. Oy vey, that became an annoying hashtag. And then at one point, we find Keith Lee and Mia Yim literally in the house of the Garganos. This feud continued, of course, and it continued to show during this show, as of course we'll talk about in the matches coming up.
No doubt. So next on the card was Balor versus Priest.
All I can think of is one thing. Bam! That back bump to the steel steps. My gosh, I still have that noise in my head.
That was disgusting.
Ugh.
That was literally disgusting. And this match only went like 13 minutes.
Yeah.
So
sure.
they packed a lot into a short amount of time. I mean, granted, 13 minutes is a good amount of time compared to some matches that we see. But for a takeover, you know, it was one of the shortest on the card, you know, but we'll get to the shortest match here in a little while. I mean, it was Balor coming out with the victory in the end. I mean, did we really expect anything else? Because he kind of really just, you know, kind of returned to NXT if you think about it.
And he was originally going after Imperium and Walter, but of course, due to world events, plans changed.
Yep. So then we're going to move on to a 20-minute brawl between, like you brought up earlier, Keith Lee defending his North American Championship versus Cleveland, Ohio's own Johnny Gargano. And, you know, obviously no title change here, but Gargano is unmarketably one of the best on the planet. I mean, he's good on the mic. He's good in the ring. He is consistent. He's very consistent. And Keith Lee is just a monster that can do retarded ass stuff. For being what, 6'4", 300 some pounds, the dude moves faster and lighter than my 13-month-old 20-pound daughter.
He's a heavyweight that works like a cruiserweight. He's a super cruiserweight.
He is 305 live, dude. He is 305 live for sure.
I've heard the comparison, and I agree with you 100%. This match was really fun, though. Johnny Gargano, of course, trying to lock Keith Lee out of course, his house because Gargano owns TakeOver. Gargano channeling looks like Star Wars Darth Vader, as they did have an impromptu crowd, as we finally got impromptu crowds with talent. And overall, this match was fun. Good Lord, he sent Gargano through that plexiglass barricade at one point, and Keith Lee representing a movement regarding other events that happened. And there was a lot of sentimental support, I feel like, for Keith Lee here as well, besides the fact he's an incredible athlete. Weird impromptu heelish spot towards the end with a key that apparently did not fully blind the man and allowed Keith Lee in the end, like you said, to retain his title via Big Bang Catastrophe.
BBC. But yeah, I thought this match was great. I mean, Keith Lee, I am so unhappy that he is where he is right now.
Fast forward. Yep.
My heart hurts for him and Mia because, I mean, she's been in Retribution.
And she's not Mia anymore. She is Reckoning. Last I saw a video clip of her and Nikki Cross on WWE Main Event, which just put utter disgust in me. But
yeah, so just before we move on to the next match, all I'm going to say on the end of this is just fuck you, Vince.
You're probably not the only one to have said that, at least
I
once
know.
throughout 2020.
I
But
know.
I get it, man. I get it's
Like-
frustrating because we want these guys to thrive because we know that they can. They have the talent, they have the character, and they definitely have the desire to do so. But it all comes down to an audience of one and appealing his interests at the end of the day. We just have to go with it.
For now, I heard his health isn't in the best.
Well, I don't wish no ill will towards anybody.
I don't either, but I mean,
His health's not in the
shit
best shape,
happens.
and clearly he's going to have somebody step in place. And we've seen how much Triple H helps the other products. Just saying.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, anyways, so next up on the event was a last chance backlot brawl for the NXT Championship. We saw Adam Cole, baby, defending against Velveteen Dream. Hashtag Fire Dream. That's all I'm going to say on that at this time.
Right.
Actually, no, I won't. Sorry. If multiple times that your phone gets broken into and a picture of your dick gets sent to underage kids, you're a piece of shit. But so the only really cool thing I really loved about this match was the fact that Velveteen Dream was dressed like Negan from The Walking Dead. That was pretty badass. We saw Dexter Lumis show up, which was really cool and unusual. We saw them beat the piss out of a Dodge Intrepid.
And Dexter Lumis taking SPDR hostage in the trunk of a vehicle.
Pretty much. Like, it was pretty great. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was really, really laughing at that point. But this match was a cinematic match. We had a bunch of cars. You know, you saw Velveteen show up in his deal. Then you saw the Undisputed Era show up in this big-ass truck. It was like a Ford F-350 with probably an 8-9-inch lift on it, probably 30-inch tires. It was just retarded big. But so everybody's hanging out in that, having a good time. Adam shows up, and just, you know, it's back and forth. And in the end, Adam Cole gets the victory. We did see Dexter Lumis show up and take Roderick Strong away in the trunk, which was pretty funny. And then that led into a bunch of stuff throughout the rest of the year. But if Dream should have won the belt at any time, it would have been now.
Yeah.
But this is, again, before all these accusations and such.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I believe I picked Velveteen Dream to win this match. If I go back to the records of, I can't remember. It's been a while.
I'm pretty sure you did. I think I was one of the few that was saying that Adam Cole is going to retain, baby, because I think I remember doing predictions live. It was either for this takeover or the next takeover that I did predictions live for this, but I'm pretty sure you were one of those people that did pick the Velveteen, because before everything, you know, broke down and happened, etc., it was one of those things that basically when I was looking at this, it was one of those things where I was like, okay, so honestly, if he doesn't do it here, they're just not going to invest in the guy, despite the fact that fans think he should be champion. Well, apparently they don't think so, so they're not going to invest in you. So
before I answer this question from Gary, maybe the reason the belt has not been put on him is the same reason the world title was never put on Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, when he was in WWE, because of his substance abuse problems. Now, we have the substance abuse problems from Scott Hall, and then we have these different allegations coming up towards Velveteen Dream a couple different times. Maybe that's why they have not pulled the trigger on him, which is, you know, it's smart if you think about it. You know what I mean? Like, because if he does at the end of the day turn out to be like a petty,
yeah,
you don't want that as your brand. champion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, if it comes down to that, he should be banished more than Chris Benoit.
There's a name that shall not be said ever, but people will always acknowledge the man for being one of the best wrestlers of all time, no doubt. Yeah, but
I will.
You did pick Velveteen Dream. I picked Adam Cole, baby. Yeah, this was an impromptu, more cinematic than the final beat for sure. But honestly, this just felt over the top. Crazy chair spots in the Panama Sunrise, middle of the ring, under some unique lighting. And Adam Cole retained. It was as simple as that because I just didn't see Velveteen Dream beating Adam Cole under even these weirdest of cinematic circumstances. And of course, there was also basically after negotiations were made with Regal, after Velveteen Dream lost here, he could not challenge Adam Cole for the NXT championship.
Yep. So, but anyways, Gary asked, let me ask you guys, do you think NXT is holding back on a huge potential Lumis has? Yes, because I don't think they don't know how to use him without a crowd.
I think that's fair because, again, right now we've seen this guy mixed about across North American scene. He had a few at Grimes. He's the impromptu host of New Year's Evil. So you honestly got to wonder if he's setting up maybe for another North American feud with Giant Gargano, since we did see that right out. Honestly, I don't know exactly what they plan on doing with Lumis. I think they don't know either. And I think it comes down to the fact, like you said, there are no crowds. I mean, I saw this guy first live at NXT, Cleveland, Columbus, and Detroit before he even graced your NXT TV. And I was like, who is this freak?
Yeah, like I think with his character, I think he needs a crowd to kind of feed off of since he's a silent type. You know what I'm saying? He needs some type of reaction around him. But yeah, maybe 2021 can be the year of Lumis. Who knows? I mean, we'll see what happens. That's really all I can say. But yeah, I really think that they are missing out on potential because he should have been North American champion at least by now. But
well, again, we'll talk more about that later. We talk about another match was involved. And by the way, shout out to the fact they brought Todd Penton-Gill back for some fun little vignettes. Really made the show feel retro. The most ice cream sandwich promos I've ever seen. The show was really fun beyond the wrestling. The next match, though, yeah, that match was a little bit of a downer.
Yeah, we had Karrion Kross making his takeover debut versus Tommaso Ciampa.
And you would think this would have been a lot longer and more competitive. It wasn't.
This match went 6 minutes and 13 seconds, guys.
After one scary spot, then Karrion Kross planted Ciampa for the victory.
Yep, by technical submission.
Yep.
Straight domination and annihilation. TikTok.
Well, I mean, they were trying to push Karrion Kross as this unstoppable, destructive force and taking out the Cycle Killer, a.k.a. the Blackheart of NXT, one of the long-reigning NXT champions, in an emphatic short amount of time. I guess that was their first step towards that.
Yeah, absolutely was. And I watched – oh, shit. Was it this pay-per-view? Yeah, I think it was this pay-per-view Stephen Osborne was here for. I'm pretty sure.
I think you're right, yeah.
I'm pretty sure. But yeah, we kind of looked at each other like, what the fuck just happened? Like, did this, like, really? Like, you really don't know what's, okay, 6 minutes. Okay. Like, it felt shorter than that, guys. It really did. If you go back and watch it, it feels like it's over in a flash.
Pretty much.
But we're going to move to the main event because, I mean, there really wasn't much to talk about from the Karrion Kross Tommaso Ciampa match because it was so short and so dominant. Ciampa got like 3 hits in. That was it. It was just a straight slaughterhouse cross style. So, but the main event was a triple threat women's NXT championship match.
Yeah. Kudos for the first time the women main evented the show, by the way, with the NXT Women's Championship. I will say that.
So it was Charlotte Flair defending her NXT Women's Championship against Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai.
After attacking both of them, and it got turned into a triple threat. After Io and Rhea were trying to have a singles match.
So this match was, I mean, triple threats, we know, or no disqualification, blah, 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 blah. Chip has been just there since about then.
Yeah, I understand the longevity of Tommaso Ciampa. He definitely is one of those foundations of NXT. No doubt about that.
Agreed, and thanks for the viewership, man. I appreciate it. But, yeah, this match went just under 20 minutes, a little over 17, like 17 and a half. We saw a lot of stuff happen in a short amount of time. But my favorite spot was Io jumping off the goddamn house.
That was brilliant.
That was amazing. We were hoping that someone was going to utilize the house because they had the old in your house kind of stage.
Yeah, and that was really cool.
You know, that was really cool to see. And Io pinned Rhea, right? Am I correct?
Io did pin Rhea as we go towards the end of the match, and what was a hard-fought battle, I might add, where honestly it was like NXT versus WWE because they did team up on Charlotte Flair during multiple times, but Charlotte Flair, of course, she let the match lie in her favor. At the end, when there was like a figure eight being put in play, and Rhea Ripley was on the verge of maybe tapping out again, we were hoping, dear God, no. Io Shirai with the side moonsault from the top, planted on Rhea, and pinned Rhea for the victory. But Charlotte Flair is no longer NXT Women's Champion, and Io finally ascended to the top.
Again, you're Ric Flair's kid, and you get to be protected on losing your championship that you shouldn't have won in the first place.
Well, what are you going to do?
Anyways. After this, we get some decent TV because, again, we're in COVID mode. And then we get that sweet announcement that on July 1st will be night one of the Great American Bash.
Yep.
And they really didn't, I wish they wouldn't use the Great American Bash deal. I wish that would just be given to Dustin and Cody out of respect for their dad and everything. But night one was July 1st. And pretty much this was the rundown. This was the match card. Tegan Nox versus Candice LeRae versus Dakota Kai versus Mia Yim in a fatal four-way elimination to determine the number one contender. Thatcher versus Oni Lorcan. Rhea Ripley versus Aaliyah and Robert Stone. Dexter Lumis against Roderick Strong, and Io Shirai against Sasha Banks. So, yeah, we saw Sasha and Bayley return to NXT, trying to think that they are the shit. And I mean, I like the fact that they put the stuff on TV because they need to bring in something. I understand they're still trying to compete with AEW and that they're still trying to get the demo. And it's not working out in their favor at all. But I appreciate the thought. I appreciate the fact because we're not getting these pay-per-views like we should because of the pandemic. So they gave us 2 really awesome weeks back-to-back of TV. I mean, Rhea Ripley and defeating Aaliyah and Robert Stone. It was a handicap match, but if Rhea lost, she had to join the Stone brand.
Something like that was going to happen.
Exactly.
That was random nonsense, honestly. Rhea, at this point, she was just having fun, trying to find her confidence. The women four-way definitely was a great way to kick off the show, as the women's division, of course, owns NXT. In my opinion. That
was the longest match on the card, by the way.
Yeah, it was. And then, of course, Dexter Lumis, he's trying to overcome Roderick Strong, was trying to overcome his fear of both Trunks and Lumis in a strap match. And then, of course, we set up Prime Target for the big match of the entire thing. Keith Lee and Adam Cole, double gold. Breezango comes to the aid of Drake Maverick after he gets screwed out of the Cruiserweight Championship after Hilo de Fantasma shows us his true, absolute, ambitions. And he demasked himself.
Oh, yeah.
And we get this faction where it turned out these hit and run, taking advantage guys, they were all in it the whole time. Mercedes Martinez was coming, and Cameron Grimes says he wants the winner of Cullen Lee, despite the fact he's just coming off a loss with Finn Balor. And of course, last but not least, dream match. Io Shirai, Sasha Banks closed the show. But more so is just, a way to try and pop a rating. As of course, Bayley got heavily involved. And the only reason these two are on here is because they were women tag team champions. And Io Shirai had help of her own based on what was going on the other rosters, as Asuka helped Io beat Sasha. And the two stand tall. NXT's great past women's champion versus NXT's great current women's champion. Not a bad show at all. A lot of fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. This is when Thatcher was really starting to kind of come in his own, coming off that big win over, Bellator's or MMA's Matt Riddle and this, that, and the other. But he went out there representing Ring Conf. Loomis in a strap match was good. Io Shirai and Asuka, I want to see them as a tag team again, real bad.
Agree.
Real bad. I was really hoping that Io Shirai would have been the one to show up instead of Charlotte and be the mystery partner for Asuka at TLC, because I think that would have been really cool for Io to be the first woman or first person, honestly, to hold main title gold and NXT gold at the same time without having to relinquish one of the titles like Paige did when she was the NXT Women's Champion, then beat AJ Lee for the Divas Championship.
Yeah.
So, but no, overall, great show. We'll move on to night 2, which was July 8th. We had a dark match, Tony Nese versus Leon Ruff. The great value version of Leo Rush.
Not saying a lot.
No, and then we kicked off with Candice versus Mia in a street fight.
That was all.
Just over 15 minutes. Great match. Great competitors.
Wild ending spot, by the way, with the swinging neckbreaker off the top, through the chairs, it was just destruction galore. Candice Hardcore showcase, full effect. As again, it was the Garganos versus the Limitless couple, and as was being foretold here. While Lee was dealing with other things, though, another person came into place to step with Johnny Gargano in one Isaiah Swerve Scott. Good night for the Garganos, as Swerve also lost too.
Yeah, it was a good night, because very rarely do we see both of the Garganos win a match on the same show.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, Bronson Reed defeated Tony Nese. So I guess Tony Nese had 2 matches this night, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, he did. But again, the dark matches, they don't matter. And also, we got the saga of Robert Stone versus the Tank start to happen as he tries to recruit Shotzi Blackheart. And Priest and Grimes continues their brewing feud. Before we talk about what was the focus actually of the whole show that kind of left everything else as an underfought, as people were talking about who was going to win this historic match, the NJPW did it first, between Keith Lee and Adam Cole for double NXT singles gold.
Yeah. But before we get there, we got El Fantasma. I can never say the first name right. I don't care. So we got Santos Escobar, Jaquin Wild, and Raul Mendoza.
Correct.
Against Drake Maverick and Breezango. Match went just over 10 minutes for a 6-man tag. Kind of felt a little short. But again, El Fantasma comes out on top. No surprise there. You have the Cruiserweight Champion on the scene, who has just made a new kind of cartel faction. And I'm still waiting for a 4th member, bro. That's all I'm going to say.
The potential.
I'm still saying Jake Atlas needs to balls up and do it. But
I mean, he already confronted the champ. He went after them. That'd be an interesting swerve. No pun intended. Also, Mercedes Martinez debuted. Or really, basically. How can one of the baddest women ever.
In a 2.5-minute squash match against Santana Garrett.
Poor Garrett.
But, yeah. So, moving on to the main event.
Holy hell, what a match.
Going in at just under 20 minutes, we had Keith Lee defending his North American Championship against Adam Cole,
Baby.
who was defending his NXT Championship in a winners take all match. Shut up, take my money, because this was everything you wanted and more. I thought it was a great, great, great match. Adam Cole and Keith Lee can wrestle each other every day, and I would probably not get sick of it. These two know each other very well, and they are very diverse. You have Adam Cole, who is, a skinnier dude. It looks like he should be able to do more high fly moves than the dude that's 600 or that's 6'4" and 330 pounds or whatever he is.
Yeah.
This was a long time coming, because we've seen these dudes feud before. We've seen this over the last few months in year or whatever in NXT, when Undisputed Era was running roughshod over everything and this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, Adam Cole, his longest reign of the NXT champion ever, had come to an end. And 1, 2, 3, we get the BBC, and we got a new dual champion in Keith Lee.
First time ever in NXT. Singles.
First time ever.
Yep. Absolute celebration for everybody, including his friend that came forth in Dominic Dijakovic, but also somebody watching on from afar celebrating in his own way, Karrion Kross and Scarlett. But still, an incredible moment and match. Couldn't have asked for somebody more deserving to have that. Congratulations to Keith Lee.
Yes, I fully agree, but I was kind of really hoping. Do you remember when Kevin Owens showed up on scene and Sami Zayn won the belt? And then what happened after that? I was kind of hoping something like that would have happened, but we did see, a championship match between the two down the road. But anyways, Karrion Kross was waiting and waiting and waiting, and he went through just about everybody to make things happen. So, moving on to TakeOver 30.
Yes. Yeah, because during that time, as we were building towards that, Priest and Grimes continued their feud. Keith Lee ushered in the double gold era and immediately started off by defending those titles against his friend Dominic Dijakovic successfully. But then Karrion Kross was making his moves very well, trying to make it personal with Keith Lee, saying, "You're going to give me this match whether you want to or not, or people are going to get seriously hurt." Tegan Nox also contended for the NXT Women's Championship against Io Shirai, lost. And as we continue to go down the line, Karrion Kross can make it more personal, to the point Keith Lee getting what he won after Karrion Kross destroyed Dominic Dijakovic in front of Keith Lee, who came out, I might add. And we were setting up towards who could challenge Johnny Gargano next for the NXT North American Championship. Saucy Blackheart had her feud with Robert Stone and Aaliyah. Mercedes joined the brand. We got this set up for the six-way dance for the ladder match. And also Keith Lee vacated the North American Championship. So I was like, what the hell? As again, he believes that these two titles should not be classified on just one person. He wants to give as much opportunity as possible. So then Regal sets up these multiple triple threat qualifying matches. And we move forward, and our card for the 30th TakeOver is made after an emphatic statement made by one Pat McAfee to finish off what became probably one of the strongest, wildest NXT takeovers to date.
Yes, sir. So we start the night off. I believe this was aired on NXT, but Breezango against Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch, and Del Fantasma's Wilde and Mendoza in a triple threat tag team match to declare a number one contender to the NXT Tag Team Champions. Breezango went over with the victory in just under a 7-minute match.
Mhm.
Really nothing to write home here. So main show started with Balor versus Timothy Thatcher in a classic wrestling match.
It was weird how it was set up, though, when you think about the only reason this happened because Thatcher attacked Balor because they didn't qualify through their triple threat contenders match. In fact, I believe one of these men had 2 opportunities to do it after a losing effort, and I think Thatcher caused Balor in the last shot triple threat, and this match was made. But this was a really great, aggressive opener.
It was super aggressive, and I was not expecting this match to start the show.
Me neither.
But it did, and it delivered for sure. Again, a little over 13 minutes. And honestly, I mean, if you think about it, this was kind of a match with Imperium because Thatcher's ring conf. Sorry, ring conf will trump Imperium any day. But
Not gonna
that
argue
was a great match. Balor went over again with the victory. And hopefully again down the road we can see this. Maybe once Balor drops the NXT title, because I don't see Thatcher at this point going for the NXT title. I just don't. As much as I would love him to, it's not his character right now.
No.
So, but speaking of championships, we're going to move on to the vacated North American Championship ladder match.
This ladder match was nuts.
We got Damian Priest, Bronson Reed, Cameron Grimes, baby.
Cameron Grimes. That's it.
The Velveteen Dream and Johnny Gargano. For a ladder match, this was everything you wanted and more. You had all sorts of different superstars in here. You had heavyweights, you had small guys, you had tall guys. You had, the muscle athletic, you had the pure athletic.
Shout out to Bronson Reed, by the way, paying tribute to Van Bigelow.
Yeah, he definitely did that night for sure. The gear, everything like that. This match just went over 20 minutes, and we saw Damian Priest come out on top.
Yes.
But I really thought it was going to be Gargano. They were super, super close at the end. I really loved the ending, the battling back and forth with Gargano kind of hanging on for dear life. And boom, we get the one final shot from Damian Priest that sends him down, and bam, we got a new champion, which is Damian Priest. Yeah, you went with Priest for that match, didn't you?
I did. I told you I had a feeling that Priest, this was his time. I just knew they were building this guy towards something, and I was figuring that it would come down to Priest Gargano, and it did at the end, even though Gargano I thought was dead. After an impromptu help from Candice LeRae tries to stop Bronson Reed, ends up just riding Bronson Reed's back down to the mat as him and LeRae crush Johnny Gargano. And this is after Velveteen Dream takes a fall from grace, flying off the ladder over a barricade, through a table, much to people's happiness, I'm sure. And of course, Cameron Grimes is wondering what the hell is Candice LeRae doing here, and just put out all crazy stops and moves. But he just was not at the picture at the time at the end. And at the end, it came down to Priest stopping Gargano, dead as tracks, both men gripping the title. And in the end, Priest took out Gargano and still had the championship. Priest won. Rightfully so and well-deserved. But everybody here in this five-way dance, they did their part right. This was an awesome ladder match.
Yeah, it really, really, really was. Ladder matches are one of my favorite matches to watch. And ever since Money in the Bank has become a concept match, I don't really enjoy it anymore. So seeing just a regular ladder match, I mean, granted, it was, a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6-person. Six person.
But it was a five-way dance.
But still, you know what I mean? Just seeing that compared to just the Money in the Bank, like an actual championship is on the line and yada, yada. Because I remember watching Shawn and Razor. Shawn had the blue trunks on. I can't remember exactly where it was. He had his blue tights on. There was an orange ladder. I had it on VHS when I was a kid.
Classic. All-time classic.
Loved it. Loved it. That's when I had one of those
Oh, that's
TVs that was like this big with the VCR built into it. I would just sit there in my room and rewind and rewind and rewind and rewind.
Don't blame you.
It was like just some greatest hits thing that we had from the video store that I lost because I wanted to keep it. But anyways, moving on. We got
What the hell is this man that you think doesn't even belong associated in a ring with Adam Cole, and he steals the whole damn show?
Pat McAfee from the Indianapolis Colts, the punter from the Indianapolis Colts.
Wow.
And Adam Cole in a 16-minute match that stole the show.
Wow.
I will give props to McAfee all day. That dude trained his ass off and really came into his own and put on a hell. Granted, he had Adam Cole there leading him on, telling him, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But I really loved that match. It all started over an interview, folks. If you don't know, Adam Cole was on the Pat McAfee show doing a podcast, etc. And Pat was being kind of a dick, and Adam didn't have it. And this is where we're at. And I will to this day give praises to Pat McAfee because of this match.
Yeah, I can't argue that. I mean, literally, and I don't watch sports, so I was bloody shocked to see this guy. This is Ronda Rousey level of freaking impressive. Ronda Rousey was involved in a mixed tag team match like a WrestleMania 34.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom line, though, is this. Started off with a freaking talk show interview, and then it's like, okay, we're going to come together. We're back to normal. We find out on commentary, and Adam Cole's wondering why you're still tyranning him for being such a small boy, can't do it on your own, angry tiny man. And figuratively, he kind of cost Undisputed Era the rematch for the tag team titles against Imperium. And then literally after that, he punts Adam Cole. The match is made official. Triple H says, okay, Pat, you want to do this? All right. Pat comes in with some wild promo games talking about how 2 weeks. You gave me 2 weeks to prepare for this match. And how's it going to feel when I beat you? Because everyone's going to be saying simply, boom. And then we get this match where he puts on an in-ring and top rope wrestling clinic. Gave us the closest of near falls to the thought. Dear God, I thought I was going to freaking win. So glad I didn't go with them, unlike some people in the league, Greg. And literally at the end, Pat McAfee, he falls to Adam Cole via the last shot after eating a Pamela Summers. But still, that match right there defined Pat McAfee. And honestly, might have been the most surprising match of NXT's 2020. It certainly was for me. What an incredible affair.
It really was. And spoiler alert for session 3. We'll see Pat McAfee again.
Oh, yeah.
But moving on to the NXT Women's Championship match of this card, we had Io Shirai defending against Dakota Kai with Raquel Gonzalez. What a year it's been for Dakota Kai, first of all.
No kidding.
Ever since her stint at TakeOver War Games 2019 attacking Tegan Nox,
yep,
she's been on fire.
Breakout Star of the Year. She beat Tegan Nox with the help of Raquel, who became her friend, heavy, what you want to call it, back at NXT TakeOver Portland. And she's just been a main staple of the NXT Women's Division going forward. This newfound attitude has guided her to bigger, better things as she booted Io Shirai after Io Shirai defended the title against Tegan Nox. And this match was basically made.
Gary, I'm probably going to have to agree with you, man. McAfee was actually my breakout superstar of the year. But again, we'll get into more of that on session 3.
As we're just about done with session 2, as we're entering in the fall season. This is
the fall season. Yep, we are in August right now, and then we will be back next week with season 3. Session 3, whatever you want to call it, and we will, finish off 2020 then. But let's finish this pay-per-view off first. Again, Io Shirai defeated Dakota Kai.
It was not easy.
Not easy whatsoever in a 17-minute match that, honestly, if Pat McAfee wasn't on this show, I thought would have stole the show.
Yeah, Kai came so close, and she did
multiple times.
Io Shirai, including Raquel. But every move she countered Io at the bare basis, kicked her face in. At one point, I thought she literally was going to win, but it just wasn't to be. As Io Shirai does put on the end, of course, Asai moonsault. And then afterwards, Raquel comes into play to try and be, spoiler maker, which brings forth Rhea Ripley. That set up so many bigger things. As Io Shirai does stand tall, but Rhea, she just looks on at Raquel, and Kai just puts Raquel's side and says, "You guys get back here, just get back here." And again, it's like, okay, Io, yeah, you're standing tall, but I just see Rhea looking this way, and then I see Rhea turn towards the town like, okay, there are bigger things coming to this division. I'm getting excited. But kudos to Dakota Kai and what was probably the best match so far in her career. She really stepped up her game and showed she could go with the best of them.
Oh, absolutely. I really, really thought that for some reason Dakota actually might do it. Because honestly, we've had kind of a flop in the women's division and with the women's title. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I really, really thought that Dakota was going to do it for a minute. I really, really, really did. Sorry, I'm trying to type out some.
No, you're all good. You're timing bad. I get you. And again, Io Shirai, who just won the title. I mean, this is the first takeover since winning the title. She defended the title. I didn't think she was going to lose it this soon, but I do like that suspension disbelief that at one point I truly brought into Kai could beat Shirai. But again, it just wasn't her time.
Yeah, it really wasn't. Maybe 2021 will be either her or Candice LeRae's time.
Or somebody else that we're not talking about that we will talk about very soon. But bottom line is this. The women, once again, the strongest foundation, in my opinion, of NXT, the last 2 years at least. If Pat McAfee was not on this, I think this match could have been literally my match of the show.
Yeah. It truly, truly could have been.
And that confrontation with Rhea and Raquel afterwards, I was just like, give me more of this. Give me more of this. Give me more of this. Oh, my goodness. And I know we'll talk more about that soon. But before you go, of course, into the main event, Damian Priest celebrates his win with a party, and we get a special announcement that made me beyond happy because we're not only fans of NXT, Colin, we are also proud fans of NXT UK. They announced the return.
Thank Jesus.
September 17th.
So, again, that will start off Session 3.
But as we conclude Session 2, there was one last thing that happened on this show that changed everything, including what happened the following night.
Yes. Karrion Kross with Scarlett Bordeaux. Scarlett, whatever you want to call her. Sexy ass bitch. He defeated Keith.
But
Nope. Ass so tight you can bounce a dime off it. But
moving on, back to wrestling.
Karrion Kross defeated Keith Lee for the North American Championship in just under 22 minutes. And this match changed the face of NXT as we know it for the rest of the year. And this was a physical brawl, okay? We have two monstrous men, one out for redemption for his friend and in defense of his championship, and one out for one thing only, a championship, to hurt somebody, to show he's top dog.
Doomsday after Scott Badell sent a fireball out of the contract into Keith Lee's eye.
Yes, we had awesome things building up to this, like we had alluded to earlier with Karrion Kross taking out Dominic
Dijakovic to an emphatic statement.
You know,
he says this is not how we do things in NXT. Championship matches aren't earned like this. Well,
Keith kind of pushed Regal to make it happen.
Pretty much.
You know what I mean? So it is what it is. The outcome of this match, though, was Keith Lee. I can't remember exactly how it ended. Did he pass out?
No, it was a weird, like a top rope spot because at one point,
that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Each other. Top rope spot, like impromptu, like a splash. I'm not sure. I forget the name of the move, like a splash type move. And Karrion Kross, he fell on top of the guy and pinned him for the win.
Yeah. It was a
after Keith Lee did the Big Bang catastrophe and Karrion Kross kicked out.
Yeah, it was a top rope doomsday Sito.
Sito suplex.
Sito, yes, Sito. And then that was it. And that was it. And we will end on this note. We will end on this note. Karrion Kross separated his shoulder in this match. This was reported an hour as of at NoDQ.com reported an hour after the match ended that Kross had a separated shoulder, and we knew right there that the face of NXT was going to change dramatically.
And we also knew Keith Lee, he was off to other things.
He was off to a red brand.
Yep.
And we will touch more on that on session 3. We will pick up on what happens on the next NXT regarding the announcement of Karrion Kross's injury. So tune back, 8 o'clock next Tuesday, the 12th of January, and we will finish out the year of what was NXT 2020. Mr. Foster, I appreciate you swinging by tonight, my man. I want to hear those plugs. Where can people find you? You've had some sweet stuff over the last couple of days with Wrestle Kingdom, so let's go ahead and let the people know where they can find my good friend Noah.
I keep it simple, but it's always a pleasure time wrestling you, Colin. Thank you so much, and thank you to those that tuned in. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to connect with me, know this. I'm just a simple man and a lifelong fan of wrestling. So follow me on Twitter, nodq.com/Noah. Simple YouTube channel, youtube.com/C/Noah+210 for all things wrestling. Shouts to ATW Family on Twitter. I do live stream simple takes, which are reviews of pay-per-view shows now, as well as live stream predictions via StreamYard. And coming up tomorrow, there'll be a live simple take regarding New Year's Dash. I just finished my recaps of Wrestle Kingdom, and I'll be shortly working with Cindy G on her platform Into the Stratosphere, talking all things NJPW and what we think might be happening going forward. You can also find me on Instagram for a nice hello and just something to brighten up your day. Instagram and Foster 1916. And folks, as always, I like to live by, and now I close. In wrestling and in life, there are no winners, there are no losers, there are no betters. There's just fans. So whether you are a fan of this or that and you don't agree with somebody else, let's not bring each other down. Let's come together to enjoy what we love as we share a similar passion to this foundation that is professional wrestling. Simple as that.
All right. Thank you so much, as always, my good friend. It's always fun doing stuff with you. Hopefully, we can try to get together again sometime soon.
Absolutely.
It's what, Fastlane 19 was the last time?
So we actually got live. We didn't have the seats, but next time they do a pay-per-view post-pandemic, I imagine, in Cleveland, we're definitely getting seats together.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. I mean, I'll even sacrifice and go to an AEW show if I have to. You know what I mean?
It's a lot of fun.
I miss my friends, guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you go to wrestling more so to just be with your friends than actually see live content. Can't tell how many times I go to SmackDown, I'm talking to my friends more than the action in the ring. Just saying.
For sure.
How about the lottery?
But Digital Lizard, thanks for the appreciation on the recap, and we look forward to having you in the chat room for session 3. And Gary says, I'll be sure to share this episode on Pro Wrestling Discussions. Great seeing Noah as your guest this evening. Keep up the great work, Colin. Thanks, Gary. I appreciate that. But if you want to find me, I got it all written down right across this little bar right here. NoDQ.com/Colin takes you to my Twitter page. The Cleaver Colin Andrew is my YouTube channel, which you're watching right now. and also my Instagram work page. So please try not to add me on my personal page. I try to keep that to close friends and family and stuff now. So out of respect for me, just follow the Cleaver Call Andrew page. But yeah, next Tuesday night, we'll be back at 8 o'clock for session 3, the final countdown of 2020's NXT. Until then, go ahead when you're done here and head on over to Noah Foster's channel and check out his Wrestle Kingdom 15 Night 1 and 2 reviews. And also always make sure to support nudiview.com, the Greg Cherry brand, and last but not least, my good friend, the Jeff Meacham Network.
Absolutely.
So, again, check out everything. Have a great Tuesday, great rest of your week. Enjoy AEW or NXT tomorrow, whatever you watch. But as long as you guys watch NXT UK on Thursdays, I don't care what you watch Wednesdays.
Just enjoy life and enjoy wrestling.
So, for the simple man, Noah Foster, I am the Cleaver calling Andrew. We bid you good evening, and we'll see you for session 3.
Have a good night, folks.